Hi, everybody. I'm Kim. Welcome to the Regretful Yarn Addict. Today is Sunday, May 18th, 2025, as I'm recording this. Uh, Obviously, as you can tell, I'm here. I'm in my yarn room. We're okay. Um, and for those of you who may not know, I live in the St. Louis metro area. And on Friday, May 16th, at around 3:30 in the afternoon, a tornado ripped through St. Louis City proper. It formed about 6 miles from my house over in Clayton, and it went northeast through the city. Um, it's really really bad. I know a lot of other places have been hit by natural disaster as well, but it hits different when it's in your backyard. Anyway, it's bad. There's so much destruction, so many people without a home. And here's the thing: I live in a brick house, right? My house is a two-story brick house. I've always thought I'd be pretty safe in a tornado. It's brick. It's two layers of brick. It's outside, inside brick, and then plaster, and it's pretty solid. I thought if a tornado comes through, the roof might get ripped off, but otherwise the house would remain standing. The tornado that went through Friday proved me wrong. Now, granted, the houses that are in St. Louis are much older than mine, but they're all brick houses. 90% of all the houses in St. Louis near downtown St. Louis, well, they're all brick. And they did not remain standing. It's heartbreaking. And a part of me wants to run down there and help, but my body is saying, woman, who you kidding? Ain't nothing you can do physically down there to help out without being totally exhausted in an hour. Um, so, yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that we're okay. Um, but Friday afternoon, oh, my nose itches. Oh, sorry. Friday afternoon, about the time the tornado was forming in Clayton, is when we got hit with really strong winds and hail. And not just little tiny hail, it was big hail. Uh, Not as big as a lot of places got, but we had hail that was, you know, inch and a half in diameter. Thankfully, none of the cars got damaged, none of the windows got broken in the house, nothing like that. But that stuff was hitting the ground and then bouncing back up. I went out to the garage, and I opened up the people door on the outside. Well, there's a people door that goes into the house too, but like the one we let the dogs out. And we have a brick walkway that goes alongside the house there, and then it goes around back to a brick patio. And man, I opened up the door, and the hail was just bouncing all over the place. It was coming into the garage, and I was like, oh no, we ain't having this. And I closed that door back up and went inside the house. Um, the tornado, like I said, it went through St. Louis and then it went over the Mississippi River into Illinois. My boss lives in Granite City, Illinois. Granite City, Illinois also got hit by that same tornado. And the sirens were going off, and she was like, okay, I'm going down to the basement because all the live streams that, she was watching one, I was watching a different one, and we were just chit chatting on our work chat. And she was like, I'm going down to the basement. I was like, all right. She went down to her basement. And then the stream I was listening to Ryan Hall, and he was like listing off landmarks in Granite City. And he's like, if you're near this one or this one or that one, you know, take shelter right now because it is coming at you. And I wrote down one of them and didn't hear back from her. And this was like just a little before 3 o'clock. And holy crap, I was like, nothing. So I texted her after about 20 minutes. I was like, are you okay? And she was like, yeah, we lost power. And I was like, all right. So, and then we got an email from another manager saying, she was out because she lost power and whatnot. Um, and all right, so Friday morning was actually beautiful. It was beautiful. The sun was out, the sky was clear, nice breeze. It was one of those days where you're like, ah, yes, this is nice. But because I'm a weather nerd, I knew it wasn't going to last. And right around, because they said it was going to hit between noon and 4 is when we were going to get the worst of it. Noon came, it was still kind of sunny, and then around 1 o'clock, all of a sudden, it wasn't so sunny. It was getting dark, and we were getting reports of, you know, hail the size of lemons just a few miles north of us. Well, northwest of us. And it was like, whoo. And then we got the severe thunderstorm warnings. We were under tornado watch pretty much all day. And so it was pretty scary once it happened. Well, once the storm actually hit, it was like, oh crap. So the hail and the wind lasted about 20 minutes, and then it just cleared up, and it was sunny again. I had to go pick my car up because I told you I had to take it over to get the paint fixed on it. So I went over to pick it up, and it was gorgeous out. It was like nothing happened, except that leaves got blown off all the trees in my neighborhood. Um, all the irises, all the irises, and there are people in my neighborhood who have irises. There's little flower gardens like at the entrances at each end of it. The irises have no blooms anymore. They were just blown right off in the wind. And like I said, the streets were all covered in leaves, and it wasn't leaves like in the fall when the leaves fall off. These were like, how you have the little branch thing that goes off a limb, and it's just leaves. It's not even a wood part. It's just the leaves come out, and then there's like 4 or 5 leaves off that little green stem. That's what was all over the road, all over the yard, all everywhere, just littered in leaves that had blown off the trees. Um, so yeah, yeah. And I don't know when I got my car, my boss called me and we were talking, and her house is fine. She was fine. They lost power. but there were trees down everywhere, just pulled up, landing on cars, landing on houses. So, yeah. All right. So, I don't want to go on about that. I've been going on for 10 minutes about it. Some of you may not care, some of you may. Um, so, Saturday, Brian and I went to JoAnn because he wanted some more paint. And I talked about this before where he gets the little things of paint for his side project. Excuse me. And we knew everything was at least 60% off, was, or more. So we went over and we spent about an hour just walking around JoAnn, and it was pretty busy because, it was a Saturday. And even when I was there, it was like I knew that would be the last time I would go into a JoAnn store because they're closing in like 9 days. Because the sign on the outside of the building said 10 days, and that was yesterday. So they had yarn for 60% off, and they still had a lot of yarn, but most of it was um, Burnett blanket yarn. They had some James Draper, which I'd never heard of until it's started the closeout, and one or two other things, but there was absolutely no big twist. Oh no, I lie. They had some big twist living, but that was it. Not a lot of it. So anyway, you guys, this time I did buy yarn because I had to. I had to. They had Burnett blanket yarn for $4.80 for the 220-yard ball. Skein, whatever. So I bought some. It's a big bag. It looks super full, but you know what? They're huge skeins, so it's not a lot. And most of them were in bags, either single or double. So this one is a Burnett blanket, baby blanket. And it is... I'm just going to take it out of the plastic because... Oh my God. So the whole ball came off. Well, let's see if we can squeeze this back in. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. This is, well, they're all 100% polyester, 220 yards. This is Blue Jean Dot. I love that dot stuff. And then I got this one because I love these. The tweeds, the blanket tweeds. And this one is Sandy Tweed. They make great chickens. And then I also got this tweed, which is Woodland Tweed. And like I said before, this tweed stuff is a little bit thinner than the regular baby yarn, blanket yarn. And I kind of wish I would have got more of this one. But I'll be fine. Oh, it all fell off. This is baby blanket frosting, and this color is golden hour. I love it. Look at the colors in it. And those are showing exact. Look at that. $4.80. They didn't have a lot of anything else. And you guys, their storage, their plastic storage containers and stuff, even at 50% off, you can get them cheaper at Hobby Lobby. It's ridiculous. It's like, where are they going out of business? Well, it's not because of their yarn or their fabric. It's because of that other stuff that they just overprice. And they're like, oh, we're going to put it 50% off. Well, it's still more expensive than you can buy it at regular price. Done complaining. This one is Blanket Bright, and it is Pow Purple. And then I got one more. And honest God, if I hadn't just bought a bunch of blanket yarn at Ollie's, I might have bought some more. But this one is a brunette baby blanket, and it is in the color Buttercup. So there you go. I got 6. I only picked up 6. But man, if you want some gondolas and shelving, shoot, mine is even, well, mine. The JoAnn that I usually go to, the one nearest me, they were even selling their shopping carts. $20 each. So yeah, I spent 31 bucks. Got 6 of those, and they're usually like 12 bucks a piece. So I've been getting some boggins. And you guys, I probably will not be doing a wrap-up this week because I haven't made anything. I haven't even made any real progress on the latest shawl I'm working on. I just pick it up and work on it here and there. So let's do our cards and see what our advice is for the week. And I'll tell you some good news. Brian and I have booked another cruise, finally. So we're going on a cruise the end of April. And we're on the same ship we were on last time, the Carnival Celebration. And we're going down to the Caribbean again. But we're going one place that we had been to before, but we're going to 3 other places as well. So, totally excited about that. This will be interesting because right now we're booked into an ocean view room, which is a step above an interior and a step below a balcony. And it's like on the lowest deck that people can be on. Because, it's an ocean view. So, it'll be interesting. Very, very interesting. And it's funny because the first time we went on a cruise, I was the one who was like, as soon as we had it booked, I was the one who was watching all the videos and all this other stuff. And Brian was like, oh, interesting. This time he's been watching a crap ton of videos and he's got a spreadsheet started for the restaurants that are free and the ones that cost and what we might want to do at different ports. And Wild. All right. I think they're shuffled enough. So we'll take this one for our first one. Attend to the details. Okay, no. Okay, that's where it wants to split. Oh, we had this one. Go deeper. And on the bottom, trust the universe. So attend to the details, go deeper, and trust the universe. So there you are, people. Our advice for the week. So, getting back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the video with the tornado in St. Louis, I also want to acknowledge that St. Louis was not the only place that was hit. I understand that. There was places in Kentucky that got hit really, really bad. I think it was. It seems that there was one other place too, and other places in Missouri also got hit. There was devastation in southern areas. So I do want to acknowledge that I understand that St. Louis is not the only place that was hit by the tornadoes. But it's the one in my backyard. It's the one that affects me the most. So anyway, yeah. All right, you guys. So I'm going to let you go. We're at 22 minutes, mostly of me just blabbering about stuff you may or may not be interested in knowing. And so I'm going to call it done. Y'all have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, whatever, whenever, wherever you're watching from. Y'all be careful. Stay safe. And remember, if there's bad weather coming your way, hit the basement, man. Hit the basement. Yeah. All right. Later, Gators. Peace out.